He stayed about the same distance behind me, far enough that it wouldn't be obvious, close enough that I could always see him if I looked back. When I got to my car, he walked past the garage again, same as before. Now I was starting to feel something. Not quite fear, but awareness. That feeling when you know something is off with a situation, but you can't quite explain why. Thursday, I decided to test something. Instead of walking my normal route, I took a different street entirely. One that would add maybe 2 minutes to my walk, but went in a different direction. I wanted to see if he was just a regular person who happened to live or work in that area, or if he was actually following me. I left my building and took the alternate route. My heart was actually beating faster as I walked. And about 30 seconds later, I heard footsteps behind me. Same pace, same distance. I didn't turn around, but I could hear him. That's when it stopped feeling like paranoia. I walked faster. He walked faster. I was about 4 blocks from my car, and I was genuinely scared now. I started thinking about what I would do if he approached me. I had my keys ready. My phone was in my pocket. There were still some people around. It was early evening, and there was a coffee shop with a lit window about a block ahead of me. I made a decision. I went into the coffee shop. Just walked right in, even though I didn't want coffee. I went to the counter and ordered something, my hands shaking a little. I positioned myself so I could see the window and the street outside. The man walked past the coffee shop. He didn't look in. He just kept walking, the same blank expression, and disappeared down the block. I sat there for 20 minutes, drinking a coffee I didn't want, trying to figure out what to do. Should I call the police? What would I tell them? That a man walked in the same direction as me? That he had a baseball cap? I had nothing. No pictures. No real description beyond general details. Nothing. I decided to change my routine. On Friday, I left work at a different time, 4:45 instead of 5:30. I drove home a different way. I didn't see him. For the next week, I mixed things up. Different departure times, different routes home. I'd go to the gym some days or stop at a store, anything to disrupt a pattern. And I didn't see him once. I started to feel relieved. Maybe he had just been a coincidence, or maybe my mind had turned a regular person into something suspicious. But on Friday of the second week, I made the mistake of going back to my normal routine. I left at 5:30. I took my regular route. And I'm not going to lie, I was testing it. I wanted to know if he would show up. He did. Same jacket, same hat, same distance. And this time, something felt different about how he was following me. His pace wasn't just matching mine. He was slightly closer. Closer than the first time. I could see the back of his head clearly. He had dark hair, middle-aged maybe, though I still couldn't see his face. I went to the police station instead of my car. It's only 3 blocks from the parking garage. I walked in and asked to speak to someone. An officer came out and I told him everything. He was polite, but I could tell he didn't think much of it. He said they could do a report, but that nothing had actually happened. No threats, no assault, just someone walking in the same direction. I filed the report anyway. The officer gave me his card and told me to call if anything else happened, or if I felt genuinely threatened. He suggested I consider parking somewhere else or changing my routine, which is what I'd already been doing. For the next 5 days, I didn't see the man. I'd change my routine randomly, sometimes leaving at 4:15, sometimes at 6:00. I had parked in a different garage twice, and nothing happened. But that Friday, I got comfortable again. That's what I think happened anyway. I fell into routine because routine is easier than constant vigilance. I left at 5:30. I took my normal route. And he was there. And he was even closer than before. I could hear his footsteps very clearly now. He wasn't trying to hide anymore, if he ever was. I was about a block away from the garage, and I could hear him breathing slightly. I was scared enough that I was considering running or screaming. But something made me think that might escalate things. So I did something different. I stopped. I turned around completely and looked at him. He stopped too, about 15 feet away. And for the first time, I could see his face clearly. He was looking directly at me, with an expression I couldn't read. Not angry. Not threatening exactly. Just focused. Like I was a problem he was trying to solve. "Why are you following me?" I asked. My voice was steadier than I felt. He didn't answer. He just looked at me for a few seconds, and then he turned around and walked back the way he came. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, watching him walk away, before I moved, and I haven't seen him since. That was 2 years ago now. I've never figured out who he was or why he was following me. I filed a second report with the police, but there wasn't much they could do. No crime was committed. Nothing was said or done other than the following itself. But I learned something from it, that there are people in the world who watch other people, and that sometimes they'll stop if you acknowledge them. Not always, but sometimes. I moved my car to a different garage. I still vary my routine, though not as obsessively as I did that month. And I still think about that blank expression sometimes, about what he wanted or what he was planning. But I'm grateful that whatever it was, it stopped when I turned around and looked at him.